The system is heavily weighted at this moment against even the farms of the smaller farms that are remaining. Mm-hmm. That if we continue with the economic model mm-hmm. of low cost, high production, mm-hmm. I have concerns that the ownership of our product will continually be diminished.
The prices they are being paid for milk, for instance, is 25p a litre, which considering that the production cost is 27.5p a litre, there isn't sufficient margin in the price to really give them a living.
The freedom of setting a price is not down to the farmer. The farmer is a taker. He is told what he will get. And when he finds that he can't actually survive on what he's told he must survive on, mm-hmm. then again you go through the whole rationalisation process. It is quite disappointing, really, that then that forces the farmer to look for more and more animals or more vegetables in order to make a basic living.
Some children would think milk came out the back of the cow by pumping the cow, because they'd seen that on a cartoon, and the milk would squirt out pumping the tail. And because we've allowed because we've allowed the non-farming population to be separated from the farms, it's very difficult to get support seriously from the sort of the population as well. Mm-hmm. If the farmers if we all went on strike, and if we refused to sell our milk or sell our cereals or whatever to the supermarkets would just bring it in from France or from Germany or from Denmark, and what good would that do the farmers? We'd be stuffed.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't know how. There needs to be some way of farmers standing together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that there's the framework for it at all. Of not importing anything that we could produce ourselves. If that was a national policy, then I think farmers would be a lot stronger, and because of that, the local economies would be a lot stronger. But there's no way that probably isn't legal, mm-hmm. And there's no way that the Welsh Assembly will push it, because they have to keep London happy and they have to keep Brussels happy and everybody else. Mm-hmm. But it seems a bit strange that we're importing lamb from New Zealand when we have quite a lot of good lamb in Wales. Yep.
I think the number of people involved in agriculture is the main change I've seen. There's a huge lessening of a lot less people, particularly young people, on the farms.
20 years ago they used to grow 20,000 acres of potatoes in Pembrokeshire, and now there's only 2,000. This farm used to grow potatoes, and we used to milk 70 cows. We used to employ a great deal of people, 2 full-time persons, and now there's only my wife Anne and myself.
The way that their produce has been sold now, not just milk but mm-hmm. other products, have gone principally through centralised distribution channels, mm-hmm. and principally again through supermarkets.
So this was a dairy farm for a couple of hundred years, really. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With the changes in the EU and the milk quotas and all that stuff coming in, it made it a really fragile time for farming. The only way we can afford to stay farming is to have diversified into these cottages. Yeah. And so we're able to farm by getting people staying, come to see the cottages.
When I came home to this farm when I was 16, farmers were respected, and it was one of the top 3 jobs in the country. Now at the present time we don't even enter into the top 20.
We're less reliant on imports. We've got to learn that though they may seem cheap at the moment, it could end up quite expensive in the long run if we import more, and our ability to produce at home.
Supermarkets have dictated the price for such a long time, and ever since we've been selling animals, we have literally had to produce animals to what we've been told that the supermarkets are wanting, to what the consumers are wanting. Now that's fair enough for consumer wise, but when we're doing it to supermarkets who are wanting a certain cut of meat just so they can get it on the shelf to look right and to fit it's very difficult for us to actually make enough profit to actually put enough back into sustainable farming.
I think we need a change of heart all the way along the line, from the producer right through to the consumer, and taking together the middlemen.
At the end of the day, when they're making something for somebody else, they have the complete control, so they've got to be told that, look, if you go and buy this, this is better for you, this is more sustainable, it's better for the economy in the area, and then the farmers will respond, I think.
I think we all got to come together, sit down and look at what can be done in order, as you say, to ensure a sustainable future of food for our people in the future. I wasn't aware that there was a new food policy in the offering, but I'm pleased to hear that there is. I think it's time that this current situation is with talk of peak food in 2016. We must be prepared. We must prepare ourselves for that, because there's no doubt in my mind that with the situation with oil, with the situation in many parts of the world where there is water shortage, the Chinese are eating more red meat now than they ever have in the past, and dairy products. It's all and the world population is increasing and due to increase rapidly. I think all these factors put together make me a little concerned for the future unless we do look very urgently at the situation.
A farmer is a custodian of the countryside, and really he is an environmentalist in the things he does on a daily basis. And really, if answers were sought by combining environmentalists and farmers and governments together, there could be a great advance done in solving the problems.
As it stands, not great. I personally think food is such an important thing. I don't want, again with farming though, I don't want people to realise what they had when it's too late. Because once it's gone, once the skills have gone from the land, it is too late. It's too late to get people in and just say, oh, we should have had farmers when we had the chance. Unfortunately, it tends to be people need a shock before they actually wake up and realise what's going on.
What I'd like to see is lots more young people coming back onto the land. I'd like to see farmers getting a sustainable income from the market.
Passionately like to see is that the end price is a true price, which reflects the product and the value of the product in the marketplace, and that the cheap subsidisation, to be quite frank, I'd like to see withdrawn.
That's the message. Get people more involved in what they're doing, and then they appreciate how much hard work it is actually to produce something. And then the price will be irrelevant then.
To see farming as vital to the economy and not something that's hidden alongside, so shall we say, a diminished product. Farming food must be profiled, because in the end we all have to eat in order to survive.
And as the biotech industry fall apart, because the GM stuff is blatantly stupid, and as the supermarkets hopefully will lose their hold eventually, it will get easier for people to do what is more sensible, sort of environmentally, economically and socially. But it means changes in our society, but we've had them before, so we can do it again. It's just not going to be easy.
We need to bring back respect for food. Food is treated as a commodity when really it's a necessity. And until you realise that it's a necessity, then you will create a better, positive future for farming.
If you actually get to see how hard some farmers are working, it is very difficult to actually see how they're doing that much work and getting so little financial reward. The thing I would like to say though is just to come out to a farm and see exactly the standards and everything else going on there. It's second to none, and it's a great lifestyle. It's lovely to actually have animals like this in a field. the thing I would say more than anything is don't wait till it's gone to realise how good it was.
In 1947, just after the war, they realised that Churchill said during the war, we now produce, we have 6 million people in this country and we can produce enough food for half of them. So Churchill said, we must never allow ourselves to be caught in this position again. And I'm afraid that by today we are back in producing about 60%, having just a few years ago being producing anything up to 80 and 85% of our requirements. And I think that we must sit down and as a nation, I mean, and look at the possibility of regaining that position, because imports are not sustainable long term.